Okay, here we go.
All right.
Well, hello, DCO Nation, and welcome back to another DCO Live. I'm glad you guys have made it. We've got quite a few on tonight. Steve, Russell, Keith, Howard, Mr. Gilmore. How are you guys doing tonight? Just like always, if you guys have any questions, throw them up into the chat box. And the one thing that, a little bit of housekeeping here, first of all, let me know how the audio is tonight and if there is still a bad echo. I have been working all week trying to get this fixed. And if it's not fixed tonight, I am going to have to bring somebody in, some kind of tech guy, to try to get this thing fixed because I've exhausted my very limited knowledge in IT to try to get it fixed up. So, but guys, I'm glad y'all jumped on tonight. I have got John with Fishful Thinking. And John, you, I think, were my first guest. And now
Think
you are
so.
my first repeat
I think
guest.
it's
So I appreciate
that's
you
an
coming
honor.
on.
That's an honor, man. How you doing, DCO Nation? What's up, everybody? And
Hey,
let's talk some fishing, man. Let's do it.
yeah, yeah. So a couple of things. You know, John has a YouTube channel, Fishful Thinking Fishing, and the last few videos he's put out, man, if you guys haven't seen it, go over there and check it out. He has been ripping the redfish, and he did some striper fishing, which we're going to talk about tonight also.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So, and John is also, as you can see his hat, he is a Salt Strong coach. Tell us a little bit about that and what that entails.
So, me as a Salt Strong coach, the insider community of Salt Strong is one of the most amazing places for any fisherman that wants to learn and grow their knowledge of inshore saltwater fishing. And so, basically, what I do is once a month, I'll do a spot dissection. So, I'll pick let me back up. So my coverage area is all of the low country. So what we consider the low country is from basically Jacksonville, Florida, kind of like St. Augustine area, up to like the Murrells Inlet, Pawleys Island area towards Myrtle Beach. And so that is my area to cover. And so in the Insider Club, what I'll do is one spot dissection a week. So I will pick a spot anywhere between that, and I will make a 10 to 15 minute video of just like picking out different spots, and it'll be on Google Maps, and you can join in, and it's really beneficial. And I'll take it, and basically I'll just go down. This, I think my last one was Tybee Island, I think, and I just basically spot dissected Tybee Island. So I went through there and just basically said where I would fish, why I would fish here, incoming tide, outgoing tide, why, and just basically break that down. And then once a week, I write up, every Thursday, I release a weekend game plan. And so basically, what I'm doing is I'm telling you where to fish. I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you where the fish are going to be. I'm telling you all about like the weather, moons, and the tide, and the trends right now. Because us at Salt Strong, we're real big on like trends, and I mean that's the biggest thing. If you can learn the trends of the fish, you'll be a lot more successful on the water. And so I write the weekend game plans, and I want to tell you everything that you need to know for this weekend and every weekend coming up, just to give you just that much more confidence to get out on the water and catch some fish. And then I will do tip videos too. And so I'll just make tip videos, and it's just whatever, right? And so if it's, how to get your lure unsnagged, or how to, spool your line, or anything like that. And so all within the Insider Club, we have over 50,000 members right now
Hmm.
nationwide, and the number one online fishing club, saltwater fishing club in the nation. So
Yeah.
it's fun stuff, and I love meeting everybody. The biggest part's the connection and the fellowship that you have within everybody. Like even the like insider members are very helpful. It's not just us coaches. There's a lot of very knowledgeable insider members as well, and so we all just kind of help each other out, and it's like basically having a guide in your pocket.
That's awesome. Sorry about that. They said that I just wanted to just bring everybody up to date here. They said that the echo is a lot better. It was starting to come back a little bit, but I'm playing with John's volume, so you guys just kind of keep me informed. But thanks, guys. I appreciate that. So, John, you actually cover Merle's all the way to Florida. Man, that's a
Yes, sir.
huge area.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, it's a lot of the same stuff that we have. So, like where I'm at in Charleston, you know, it. the creek systems and like the marsh system, it spreads all the way down to Jacksonville. Once you start getting below that, you start getting a different kind of like fishing area, I guess. And so the marshy grass, the back creeks, it's all like low country type fishing, basically from Jacksonville to Merle's Inlet. And yeah, it's a good time. I enjoy looking at all the spots. I've met a ton of great people, especially from up your way.
Yeah.
You're in Merle's Inlet, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of great people. There's a lot of good fishermen up that way. A lot of
Yeah.
great fishermen.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's dive into it here. So one of the stories I know that before we jumped on here that we had a pretty good laugh about is I want to talk about this striper trip that you went on. So why don't you?
Interesting day.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So he got on some pretty decent stripers, but there was one catch that you need to tell the guys about.
So, so I was just, striper fishing. You know how it goes. I mean, you're chasing the birds, you're trying to find them, coming up schooling, all that stuff. Well, just as normal as normal operation goes with what way I like to chase the striper, just following the bird. So just cast your lure in the birds. More than likely there'll be fish there. Well, I made a very accurate cast, and the bird, I caught a seagull, and like I told you before, it was like when I casted, I could see the lure. It was like, I swear, it was just like slow motion. And I could just see the lure kind of going up, and I could see the bird just coming over at the same time. And they just intertwined. I could feel my rod start doing this in the air, and the bird. So I start reeling this bird in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a hook in this bird. Like, this is not going to be fun. This is the first like seagull, bird, pelican, anything I've ever caught. I'm a pretty decent caster. Not this. I mean, it was bad. And so I reeled him in, and luckily he didn't have any hooks in him, and he just got wrapped in the line. And so we got him out pretty easy, and he flew away. But I'll tell you what, that was an experience because them seagulls are mean now. They are mean. They will try to bite at every chance they get. And you don't know how like big them things' mouths are, or how fierce they are until you
Yeah.
actually like grapple it.
Yeah.
It was wild, but definitely an experience that I'll never forget.
Yeah. So I think I saw on the video, didn't your buddy like put a towel over its head or something like that to try to get it? Is that what?
He just put some gloves on, and
Oh, is that what it
it
was?
probably would have been smart to put a towel over his head, but like. Just three idiots on the boat having fun striper fishing. We're just trying to get this bird off.
Yeah.
Like let's get him out of here. I don't want anything to do with this bird. So, but we got him entangled. But no, we probably should have put a towel or something over his head. And it's funny because we thought about that after we let him go.
Yeah.
One of the guys on the boat was like, well, "If we just put a towel over his head, probably would have been a lot easier."
Jeez, man.
But you
Yeah.
don't think about that at the time. It's just let's just
Yeah.
get him out of here. The fish are biting. We got to get him out of here. And
Yeah. No.
Move on.
No. No.
But it was wild, man. It was funny though. But
Well,
luckily,
you're
like I said,
definitely
bird
one
flew
up on
away.
me. Yeah, I haven't caught a bird yet, so.
I'm telling you, you don't want to. It's not fun.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it then.
It's not fun. I'd rather hook into a million fish and just let the birds be the birds.
Yeah, yeah. Everett just jumped on and said, "Done that once." So yeah, so we at least
So
got
Everett
one
knows.
that's.
Everett knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an adventure. It's wild because it don't feel like any kind of fish you've ever fought before.
Yeah, I bet. And I don't even know how I would handle something like that on a kayak because you were on a boat with a couple
Yeah,
other
luckily I
guys.
was on the
So
boat.
yeah, trying to
On a
fight
kayak,
this
I mean, that would be an adventure.
Yeah. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
That would be real fun. They
All
drag
right.
you all around, especially when
So-
you start trying to fly.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so it's February. The weather has been up and down and up and down. I mean, I work outside for a living. Yesterday, I was freezing cold. Today, I was sweating. It was like 70 degrees. So, how are you approaching your fishing in February where it's so up and down like this?
It's almost like hour by hour. It's almost like trying to break down the day, but like Mother Nature can really throw wrenches in your day. And so when I'm out on the water, I'm really just, I obviously have a game plan before I go on the water. I have my stuff together. I know where I'm fishing, what I'm fishing with. I know the spots I'm going to fish because of what tide and all that kind of stuff. So I already have the game plan, but That doesn't matter sometimes because you can get out there and it is just totally different, right? I mean, I think we've all experienced that before. But I mean, right now in February, when everything's unpredictable, when you have these hot and cold days, fish can't really get a good pattern. And, they can, want to do something one day, but then the water temperature is too cold, so they're not going to do that next day. And so they don't really know what to do. So it's not going to put them in a big feeding mood if they don't even know where they can go survive that. And so basically it's just hour by hour, and it's just when I'm out there, it's just what I'm seeing, and that's how I really like to approach it, is just on the water and just attack it. Then have the game plan in your back pocket that you already had in your head, but when you're out there, you have to make the right adjustments in order to catch fish and be successful.
Yeah. Now, do you know, have you seen any type of a pattern where the fish are staging? Are they staging more in deep water? Are they pushing up onto flats? Are they hanging around oysters? What are there any trends or patterns that you've picked up on like in the last month or so?
Oh yeah, for sure. So let's say that all depends on the day. And so let's say we have a nice sunny day. It's getting cold at night. So we have 40s at night, 30s at night. But then we got a good 60-degree sunny day. And that would be a time that I would really like to target like oyster beds at a like incoming tide right as the tide switches. Because what happens is those oysters will sit out in the sun. And it doesn't matter if it's like 60 degrees, 70 degrees, 50 degrees, those oysters will soak up the heat of that sun. And as the tide comes in and that water starts washing over that oyster bed, the water there will just heat up around the oyster bed. And so that's where the fish are going to be. They're going to be just where the warmer water is. And so on a sunny day, let's just say like that, like this is what I mean by like hour by hour. If you have the sunny day and it's like, oh, okay, I got this sunny day, I got low tide, this I'm going to target these oyster beds for this specific reason. Now if I have a cloudy day, so I went fishing, let's see, 2 weeks ago now, and spent a whole day out there, fished the high and the low tide, and actually had a bad negative tide. And this video is actually coming out Saturday, and or Sunday, sorry, Sunday morning, and had a negative tide, and actually found trout in a spot that I normally didn't find them because I guess the normal areas, just didn't have enough water, and that was a spot. It was a bend in a creek with some structure, some docks, and a little bit of depth. And so, since the sun wasn't out that day, I wanted to target more of like depth and like bends in creeks because the sun's not out to warm up anything. So if the sun's out and it's warming up the water around oyster beds, that's why you see redfish really swim in these oyster flats, especially this time of year, simply because the water is just like that few degrees warmer makes all the difference in the way the fish will feed and the way they act and how aggressive they are and everything like that. So just targeting, especially this time of year, just going it day by day, but targeting bends, targeting docks. I like to find a dock that maybe has a little bit deeper water around it than the rest of the docks, just anything different. And that's where the fish are going to be. And they want to be comfortable. They want to be away from predators. They don't want anything to do with the dolphins. And they want a decent place to stage and try to eat right now because, the bait's real scarce in the creeks. But so that's the places I'm looking at right now. I'm targeting docks and bends and creeks, and then like shallow oyster flats, that kind of area.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense because I was out on last Saturday for a tournament down in Charleston,
Mm-hmm.
Sullivan's Island. We launched out of Station 26, and my plan was basically I wanted to fish these couple of areas right next to the ICW because the tide was going out. So I thought, let's see what's in these creeks, maybe pushing into some deeper water like the
Mm-hmm.
ICW. But then my second plan was to fish some docks. And it was just like you said, the fish that I caught, the docks were probably only in about 3 feet of water, but next to that 3 feet of water was 6 to 8 feet. So it
Right.
was a drop off right
Yep.
there. And that's where I caught all of my fish. So yeah,
And
man,
that's
you're right
exactly
on
where they're
it.
going to be. That's exactly where they'll be this time of year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
definitely.
find. Great find on that.
Yeah, and yeah, so that's where I caught my one red of the day was right there, and I think I pulled it off of the shelf. Now I threw it up
Mm-hmm.
underneath the dock. It was a little bitty slim swim with an 1/8 ounce head,
Yep.
So I kind of threw it back in there, and I think I worked it down off of the ledge. I couldn't really
Mm-hmm.
tell, but that's what I'm assuming. So,
Mm-hmm. Yep. The big thing this time of year too is also fishing very slow. You know, a lot of people will fish very fast. And when I was fishing the other day, I had a shrimp lure, just a salty Ned shrimp, on a 1/8 ounce, jig head, and I would not get a bite unless I dead sticked it for 45 seconds. So I actually made a switch over to Slim Swims, and in the same area I was catching trout just because I wanted to see what the fish were like keyed in on. I put the Slim Swims on, threw it out there, and just slowly retrieve. I mean, the slowest retrieve, but just a steady retrieve across the bottom. Couldn't find a bite. Must have made 10, 15 casts. Nothing. I put the little salty Ned shrimp back on, cast it back out there, gave it one good hop off the bottom, let it sit. Next hop, fish was there.
now with that salty net shrimp, were you using like a 1/4 ounce or something heavy so you stick to the bottom, or were you using something lighter to kind of let it drift down towards the bottom?
And so I was fishing with I think it was a 1/6 ounce, and that always depends. It was just like it was just like a little Ned head, jig head, a little shroom head, or whatever they want to call it. And depending on the size of the weight is depending on like the area I'm fishing. If I'm fishing like back marsh creeks, which is normally where I'm at, just if I can get away with that 1/6 and it can stick to the bottom, that's exactly what I'm going to go with. I'm going to throw the lightest thing I can get away with. If I'm just like searching for fish, just trolling down, usually got 1/8, and if the tide's too much, a 1/4 ounce, but I will never go heavier than a 1/4 ounce. If I can't get it to the bottom in a 1/4 ounce, then I'm not fishing that area. I'm moving.
Yeah, that's great tip. I do the exact same thing. That's why, the guys have heard me say this before. Wintertime fishing is not my time because I'm a power fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
Dragging something on the bottom and dead sticking, man, that is not my MO at all. It hurts me to fish that slow, John. It hurts me.
It's funny. I love wintertime fishing. I am right the opposite. I love wintertime fishing. It is the best. I love being out there in the summer, but man, it's just something about the cold weather and the big like negative tides we get, and how the fish are just very centralized. You can just literally sit in one spot and catch 100 fish, and it'll be all the inshore fish will sit in the same spot. That's what I love about wintertime fishing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you're a nut anyway, so
I've been called worse, so that's
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah,
Um,
that's not bad at all.
so the video probably now it's probably been about a month now. You went out and you crushed some redfish. You actually turned the video into well that day of fishing into two videos
Yep,
because you
yep,
were just on them that day.
correct.
I think you were using like fresh shrimp. Is that right? I don't know. No, wait. You were no, wait. I think it was fresh shrimp. Is that what you were
So
throwing?
so you're right twice. And so in the two videos, the first one I was using the power prawn made by Salt Strong here, and then the second video when I went to the next spot, I just had some like fresh shrimp that I was gonna just use, and I didn't want it to go to waste because I was either gonna dump it or use it. So I was like, let me just go throw this shrimp in the sticks down here that I know where they are, and see what I can pull up. And had a good day that day. So the first part of that video was just the toadfish rod, 6/8 medium light, and the power prawn. If you don't know what power prawn is, guys, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. The power prawn, made here by Salt Strong, is one of the best inshore lures in our area because it replicates what our shrimp look like so much. And so that's what I use 24/7. That is my go to lure. It's always tied on because that's how I find the fish. If I can find the fish, I'll switch lures. But if I can't find fish, I'm not going away from the prawn. So, anyways, so in that first video, yeah, I was throwing the prawn and I was throwing against the little rock seawall, basically, and on an incoming tide when the sun was out. And the redfish were staged right shallow. I mean, they couldn't have been in a foot of water as that tide was coming up. They were just following it. They're just following the warm water, just naturally what they were doing. And so if I didn't cast right on the rocks, yeah, I wouldn't have got a bite. But every time I casted right on those rocks, a redfish would nail it, nail it, nail it, nail it every time. And I end up catching 5 or 6 overslot reds in that one spot. Biggest one was 31 inches. And then even off camera, man, like what I didn't put on that video was slot red, slot red, slot red, and all there was probably there could have been 100 fish, stacked in that one area. And luckily I found the big ones, all the overslots, which I wasn't expecting that day. It was a negative tide again, bad tide, but luckily the fish were exactly where they were supposed to be, and so that really helped me out.
Do you have any idea why they were stacked up there? Did you see a lot of bait or little
Just
grass
warmer
shrimp or
water,
anything?
warmer water, and that's all they're searching for right now. And water temperature matters. It's not the main thing you want to focus on when it comes to trying to find the fish. But right now in the wintertime when it's really cold, that's all they want to look for is warmer water. And so, like I said, it was a rock wall, and the sun had, this is a rock wall. The sun had been beaming down on that rock wall all day, and it was I think it was like a 1 or 2 o'clock tide switch, and so it was a perfect time to go out there. And as soon as the tide switched, I went out there, and as that water rose on those rocks were just heating up the water around that, and so the fish just naturally, it's just natural to them to rise with the water and just stay in the warmer water, you know. And so that's where they were. And then luckily they were, pretty hungry and willing to feed and had a good day.
Yeah, and guys, that is so key because fish are cold blooded and they will move 10, 15, 20, 30 yards to go find a 1 or 2 degree difference if it means that they're going to be warmer, because that's the only way they regulate their body temperature is to find warmer areas. So, they're not going to be crawled up underneath a dock where it's all shady. Even on Saturday, the dock that I caught my red, it was a north facing dock and the sun was beating underneath that and it was mud underneath that dock. So again, that mud was warming up, the dock was nice and sunny.
Yep.
So yeah, it's exactly what John was saying. These fish are going to move to where they're comfortable. Just like you guys, if you're cold, especially during the winter time, you'll walk around the side of the house to go stand in the sun because it's warmer. You're not going to stay in the shade in the wind because it's colder. You want to find the warmer spot. And these
That's
fish are doing the exact same thing.
spot on. That is spot on.
So, okay. So, when you were rigging your fresh cut shrimp, how were you doing that?
I like to do it a few different ways, but I just use jig heads. So if I'm using any live bait, I just use a 1/4 ounce jig head. That way I can just get it to the bottom. And then so how I like to two different ways. So if I wish I had a shrimp right here, I could just show you, but I just peel the tail off, and then I'll just kind of here we go. So I'll peel the tail off here, and then I'll
Yeah,
kind
man.
of
Yeah. Hey, there's your visual right there.
yeah. I mean, I hope you guys can understand. I mean, but so I'll peel the tail off, and I actually put him on backwards, and then I'll put him on like I would an artificial lure. I'll kind of take the hook out of the belly and push him up on there. Now they don't stay on there real good, but if you can get that one good cast and get it in the area, I like to throw live bait, or I say live bait, shrimp, whatever, up under sticks and to catch sheep's head or redfish or whatever. So if you can get that up under there, you don't got to move it much. And so I like to rig it the same way it looks natural in the water, I guess. Kind of sits like this, as like your artificial lure would, with hook hanging out this way, and seems to work for me pretty good. And the other way is just right the opposite. I don't peel the tail off. I just kind of run it through the head, just kind of get as much meat on there as possible, and then just run it up on there. You don't want to push it too hard because then it'll just kind of smush. So just get it on the grooves and throw it out there and see what you can get.
Yeah, and I think I noticed, I think it was your last video, you went and you stopped by and you picked up some shrimp, but you stopped by like a seafood place to pick up your
Correct.
shrimp. You never went
Just
to excuse me, you never went to like a bait shop to get like live shrimp. You just,
yeah. Nope. Fresh dead shrimp works very well, especially in the wintertime. It's a good, fish are really keyed in on scent and stuff like that. So if they can just see a fat shrimp sitting on the bottom that it's not moving, they know it's a shrimp. They know the scent of it. So they're just going to pick it up. Could be just like a dead shrimp laying down there, or like anything, like another fish may have ripped the shrimp in half or something, and the other, half of that shrimp is down there, and redfish is going to pick it up. Bait is so scarce in the wintertime that, I mean, they see a good chunky, easy meal just sitting on the bottom, they're usually going to get it.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And I'm not even sure, what's the cost difference between that? Is live shrimp more expensive than a pound of
I
regular?
believe so. I've really gone away from, if I've used live shrimp, I rarely buy it. So I don't really know, what the price of like the live shrimp's going for right now. But I mean, I just get like a pound maybe, and then see if that'll catch me some fish. That'll be plenty enough for me to catch plenty of fish, you know. And so, I mean, it's whatever the going rate is per pound on shrimp, and then, I just don't know what the price is for live shrimp, really.
Right, right. Well, guys, we're starting to come up on that 8:30 time frame. If you guys have any questions for John, throw them into the chat box, and I'll kick them out there to him. But man, this was awesome. I'm glad. I really appreciate you coming back on, man.
Dude, I love chatting, man. I love talking fishing. I mean, it's just a passion, man. I mean, it just runs deep in my veins. I can do this all day long. All I want to do is just be on the water or helping people catch more fish and just having fun, man. This is just dream come true, really.
Yeah, yeah, I'm the same way. I look forward to, every Thursday night and just jumping on here and just kind of see where the conversation goes.
Yeah.
Again, I usually have some kind of a plan, of what we are going to talk about. Well, hell, man, I never even used any of these notes over here because it's, I would rather keep it, just an organic
It just,
conversation
yeah,
and
man.
let the guys chime in and ask questions and
We
stuff.
also don't
So,
want to sound like robots, we are real guys too, but we just talk into microphones and stuff, and we're just normal dudes like everybody else that try to educate. That's our biggest thing, and just having a lot of fun doing it.
Uh, Keith threw out a question. He said, "What is John's favorite hook or jig head for the prawn he mentioned for the power prawn?"
Any twist lock hook, a twist lock hook, you can rig it weedless. It makes the power prawn look so natural in the water just by the way it falls. Um, it's a Haas Helix weighted twist lock hook. I think it's Haas Helix. It's one of them. I can't remember. Anyways, twist lock hooks, 1/8 ounce. It's a weighted hook, and the weight kind of sits like right on the shank of the hook, and so that prawn doesn't fall like straight down. It kind of glides down like a natural shrimp would, get in the water. And so any kind of twist lock hook, rig it weedless. That way you can get in those rocks and oyster beds and really catch the fish out of there, especially from under docks. Because I mean, I'm the master of getting hung on docks.
Yeah, yeah, you and me both. They cost me a lot of money. So yeah, I know. Salt Strong has the Haas Helix and then
Yep.
Owner Twist
Owner,
Lock.
that was it. Owner twist
They're
lock. Yep.
yeah, they
Yep.
have one that is really really good. They have a 16th.
Yep.
They have an 8th ounce. Whatever that you really want on the belly of those hooks. But I appreciate that, Keith. He gave you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
So
Good question. Good
yeah, you
question.
nailed it. You nailed it. Are you using any type of scent on your artificials?
Yes, yes, yes. I believe in scent. Now, I don't believe it is just that big of a game changer. I believe you can go out without scent and just crush fish as well. But I believe scent, again, especially in the wintertime, just makes all the difference. It's just that little bit of difference in the water. And so what I use is Dr. Juice, and it's here by Salt Strong. Um, a lot of people use Procure, and I've never used it. I don't really care for it. I think it's just too kind of greasy for me, and it doesn't look right on the lure for me. I know it works. A ton of people catch fish with Procure. It works just fine, but it's just not for me. And so this is more of like an oily type natural shrimp, you know, smell. And they just rub it into my lure, and I'll take it and rub it on my leader line as well. That way, that scent can be traveling a little bit before the lure gets to the fish.
Yeah, and you guys know that I'm a Procure guy, so that means I can never fish with John. So that's no, I'm just kidding.
All
But
right, we're
there,
going out and making a video. Dr. Juice versus Procure. I'm
hey
coming to
man,
Merle's Inlet. I'm coming to Merle's Inlet. We're doing it.
I am down with that. But there is another product that I am going to be trying. Captain Bob is friends with a gentleman named Joe Coolis, and Joe Coolis is on the Mount Rushmore of outdoorsmen. I mean, he is just, I mean, phenomenal. And he has come up with a scent that is like a freeze dried shrimp, mullet. I think squid is something, and it's a gel substance, almost like a Procure, but it's
Mm-hmm.
got freeze dried shrimp on it. So I'm going to be picking up a bottle of that and giving that a try. So hopefully, I kind of do a little bit of a side by side,
Mm-hmm.
comparison with this. I can't exactly remember what it's called now. It's escaping me, but that one, compared to Procure. But
Yeah.
again, the scent, I think it's just, yeah, it. I don't know if it really attracts the fish because you're not putting that much on there, but I
Yeah.
think it helps them hold on to it like that extra second or two.
Yeah.
They're
And,
like
and it go.
almost tasting something like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, yeah, that is. It's not a piece of garden hose I'm chomping.
Mm-hmm. And if the water's dirty and they're really relying on their scent to feed, that makes a huge difference as well, especially when it goes by them and then it automatically like goes straight to the nostrils and they immediately just instinctually will just attack it because it's just natural for them to do that.
Right, right. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Well, John, it's been 30 minutes. Man, I really appreciate you coming on. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let everybody know where they can find you, hook up, watch your videos, all your
Okay.
social media, all that kind of stuff.
All right, so you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, anything. It's all Fishful Thinking Fishing. That is my YouTube channel. If you're a Salt Strong Insider and you're watching this, John Menchyk is my name. You can find me in the Insider Club. If you're not an insider for Salt Strong, what the heck are you waiting on? If you want to just catch more fish and you want to have that knowledge, I highly recommend signing up for the Salt Strong Insider Club. And like I said, find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Fishful Thinking Fishing. Message me if you have any questions. Give me a subscribe and support DCO. And let's continue to grow this thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, go over there, check them out. Like I said, I had a ton of fun, especially watching that striper video, man. If you
That
go
was a
over
fun
there and
day.
watch him catch this bird, it is
That
just
was a fun
damn
day.
funny. I was
And
like,
I had a
that's
lot of good
awesome.
guys on the boat. When you have somebody and you have a lot of good company, man, it just makes fishing that much better.
Yeah. So, again, John, really appreciate it. Guys, I appreciate you. I will see you guys next week. And I think I have another guest. I believe Katie Joe, the Pluff Mud Princess, is supposed to be on next week. She caught the flu about a month ago, so we had to kind of kick her down the road a little bit. But I think she is still scheduled to come on next week, so don't miss that one. And so, guys, again, I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you all next week. Thanks again, John.
Yes, sir. Peace out, you guys.